Hello guys, welcome to another webcast. Today with us we have Igor Gomes and Hélio Miranda. They are sports escalation engineers from Sharepoint Online. So next week we have another session from a DFS. So who have already been on the previous. This one will be the second version of the first ADFS presentation. So Igor, Hélio, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Let me just share here the screen just to start. Okay, so good afternoon everyone. This is a quick overview of troubleshooting on SPO search. So let me just going forward over here. So the agenda for this webcast, we're gonna talk about crawl properties, managed properties, and auto-generated managed properties on SharePoint Online. After that, we're gonna talk about the first steps of troubleshooting the SharePoint Online search and share some quick wins. And we have a demo on this part. And we're gonna talk regarding a little about the search query tool. And we have a second demo over here as well. So let's talking regarding the crawl properties, managed properties, and auto-generated managed properties. So the crawl properties are content and metadata that is extracted from documents during crawls to be included on the search index. This metadata can be structured content, something like the title, the author from a Word document, or unstructured content, such like the detected language of the document or some keywords extracted from the document. On the managed properties side, to make a crawl property available for search queries, we must map this crawl property to a managed property. So the managed properties can have a large number of settings or attributes. These attributes determine how the content are shown in the search results. The search schema contains the attributes on the managed properties and the mapping between the crawl properties and the managed properties. You can map multiple crawl properties to a single managed property and do the inverse, map a single crawl property to multiple managed properties. The auto-generated managed property or implicit managed property. On some blogs you can read the different notation on this. These are created after the crawler creates the crawl properties, okay, and they are visible on the search schema as a grayout or not visible at all. This is a change made on the end of 2015, and here we have an example of one property grayed out on the search schema, or simply if you search for them, it will not appear at all. So on the demo, we're going to show how we can identify if the auto-generated managed property are correctly working. This gives the possibility to search out of the box for custom columns. Right now, I'll pass the word to Hélio, and we're going to show you a quick demo.
Hi there, everyone. Let me just share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen already. Okay, so I have here a normal SharePoint site. So let's first create a site column. So let's come here to this gear, site settings. Let's come here to the site columns. Over here we can let's create a text column. Just call it the column 2. And let's create it just like all the default settings. And now we already have a list created here. Let's come to this list. And let's go to list settings, and let's add the new site column. So let's add from existing site columns. What's the advantage of creating from the existing site columns? With this, we can have the same column created to all the libraries that we want. So we can add this column to multiple libraries. So doing this okay? we will now have this column available on our list. So right now, let's create a new item. So let's come here to the list, quick edit. Let's create, for example, title B. Let's create here number 20. For example, right here, 30. With this, we'll just create a new item, and this can take up to 10 to 20 minutes to be crawled so that you can be available to be searchable. So if right now we do a search for 20, you'll have no results. But for example, we already created here a first item. If we do a search for 10, this one will be already available. So if we are over here and we don't find, and after 20 minutes, 1 hour, we don't find the number 20 or the number 30, what can we do to double check if the managed properties were created? Well, we can come here to the gear, come here to site settings, and then we can come to the search schema, and we can check for the crawl property that we created. So the crawl property that existed was the D column 1, and if we do a search, there is this saying that there's no items to show in this view. What did you do wrong? So let's confirm the column name. So let's open the list again. Let's come here to the list settings. Let's come down and let's find our column number 1. Let's double check the name. So the display name is the column 1, but if you come to the URL, you can see that over here, see the field, it's called demo call 1. So this is the internal name of the field, and this is the name that it's going to use to create the crawl properties. So let's come again here to the crawl properties, and instead of the column 1, let's try to find out column number 1. Okay, right now we can see that we have the crawl properties. So this is the crawl property created for this column, and we can see that it's already mapped to manage property. So if we click on this manage property, what can we see? We can see that it's an automatic created manage property, and the text over here is say that everything is grayed out, and we are not able to see what is the configuration. So this is the latest change that was made. So we are not able to see the configuration, but we know that the managed property was created, and we also know that it is working because we have already done a search for the number 10, and it's already returning. So, for example, after 20, 30 minutes, if we don't see any results, what can we do? We can come here again to the demo list, can come to the list, site settings, can come here to advanced settings, and then we can go a little bit down and we can do a reindex of the list. Doing the reindex of the list, this can take up to 24 hours, and this will force the list to be recrawled. Okay?
So after this, and after 24 hours, if there's no results over there, we advise you to open a support request. You can see on the YouTube some videos from Bruno Fernandes talking regarding that, or what's the steps needed. And on that service request, it will be very helpful for the support engineer if you can provide the URL of the item itself, the name of the item that is not appearing, or several ones, the managed property and the crawl property, if it's possible to provide that, and the doc ID. The doc ID, you can get the doc ID using the search query tool. We're going to demonstrate that on the demo too. So let me take the presenter right now to share my screen. Okay, the quick wins. If the items are not displayed, things that we can look for. Please check if the result source that the customer is using is the default one. If not, we can test that changing for a default one. You can check on the web parts that if the customer are using web parts, you can check that on the settings, the option to remove duplicates and remove that. Okay. And after that, you can check as well if there's only one document, a specific document, it's not appearing on the search results. We can check if the document is in a broken state. What we mean to with this is if you are able to open the document. If you're not able to open the document at all, even the crawler will not open the document and correctly index that document. You can check if it's on the draft state, only the published documents are crawled, and check if there's a checkout state on the document, only the check-in documents are crawled, and if it's on a minor version, only the major version of the documents are crawled. You can do these tests on the Search Center and using the search query tool. We're going to demonstrate that in a few seconds. The search query tool, you can get it on Codeplex. I have here the URL. We're going to share that after. Or search on your default provider. You can use this to test out and debug the search queries against the Sharepoint 2013 and the Sharepoint Online Search REST API. After running the query, you can view all types of the results. You can check the primary results, refinement results, query rules, in addition to the actual raw response. You can check how the different query parameters are formatted. You can try to play a little bit with the search query tool and check adding some properties, how the query it's made of and executed against the REST API. You can use against your tenant on SharePoint Online and authenticate using your own SPO user, and authenticate using different users to debug security trimming issues. If some results are appearing on only to a specific user and not to others, you can use the search query tool to troubleshoot this kind of situations. This is a quick and a small screenshot of a search query tool if you're not already seen this. And a quick tip on this. I'm going to demonstrate this after as well. There's a managed property called managed properties that we can use. The managed property, this is the name, is populated with the names of all the managed property that have values for the document. The only trick here is that this managed property is not retrievable. So it can only be used as a refiner. And we're going to configure this on the search query tool by adding this query over here on the last line. Let me just bring here the pointer. This one. You can add this one under the refiners field on the search query tool. So, and the results, here I have a screenshot to demonstrate how it should appear. Right after, I'll pass the word to Hélio one more time to demonstrate here a quick demo how to use the search query tool and to demonstrate all these things that I explained before.
Okay, guys, let me just set up my monitor again. Okay, so this is the lookalike of the search query tool, and what we need to know. So let's first do connect to our tenants. So if you see down here on the connection part, you can open it, and we need to put here our SharePoint URL site. So let me pick up my SharePoint site's name, and let me paste it over here. So this is my site, paste it, and we need to authenticate. So let's authenticate. We select the authenticate using a specific user account, and then we're going to select the SharePoint Online. Click here on this button, you'll be popped up to enter your credentials. On my side, I've already put my credentials, and then we can do our query. So just to filter out, I'm going to put here a query just to filter all of the results of the demo list that we have checked before. And let me paste it over here. So when we run it, what can we see? We're seeing that we have 3 results, and let's come here to the primary results. Over here we can see both the results that we have added previously, the title A and the title B. And over here we can see some of the managed properties, the common managed properties that are set to these items. So we can see, for example, what is a content class, what is the content type that we have. We can see also here the doc ID, the doc ID that Igor told you before that to open the craze could be very useful for us. And we can see when it was last modified, and we can see a lot of information for this one. But, for example, if you try to see the column that we have added before, we still don't see it. What we need to do? We need to set up so that we can see that managed property. So how can we do this? We can use the trick that Igor told us. So we can come here to the refiners. We can add the refiner for the managed properties. We add it here. We can put it over here, paste it, and you can run again. On this time, we'll go into the refinables response, and we can see all the managed properties that are set for these items. So we can see a lot of them. We open, and we need to try to find out the one that we had before. So we can do two things. We can either run to all of this one that we have here, or we can just select the one that we have saw before on our site. So if we had gone here to our search schema, we had already the name for our managed property. We can select the name for the managed property. We can go back here. We can come to the select properties. This will allow us to just see some of the properties. We can click on this part to have the most used managed properties. Come here to the end, add our managed property, run again. Let's come here again to the primary results. You can see, for example, the title B. It's still empty. The crawler still didn't pick it up, but you can see on this one also still not picked. So what do you need to do? We need to select the other managed property. So let me just pick it up. Let me just pick it up, the property. First, let me just come here to see if it's already crawled. So we can see that either the column 1 is picked as 20 and the column 2 is 30. So let's check out if you can see the other property. Okay, you can see this one. So let's click on it. We just copy the name. Let's come here again to the search query tool. Paste it. Let's see if it will return this time. Still not picked. That's because we still haven't passed our 10 to 20 minutes so that the managed property could be filled.
Okay, let me just share the screen one more time. But basically, this is the demo that we try to show to you how to use the search query tool. And let me share here the screen. Okay, not this. Okay, but basically, Hélio tries to use the new column over there, but we can use for a custom managed property. After you query for all the managed properties or know the name of the managed property, we are able to configure and select the property that we want. I'm seeing that on the screen that the property is now filled, so the 15 minutes already passed. Let me ask Hélio just to share to you, just to prove that it is now appearing. So right now, on the property, we have the value. So while we are presenting, the 15 minutes of the continuous scroll or something like that already passed on that column and crawl already the content. So it's now appearing. Here, it's the auto-generated managed property. Like I refer, we can use this for any kind of managed property. Let me just take the stage back. It's loading. Perfect. And this is what we wanted to show on this webcast. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask or send an email to me or to Hélio. and we'll be delighted to answer. So thank you for all, and I'll pass the word to Bruno.
Okay, so if there is no questions, I will make a poll. Okay. Thank you guys, and we see you next week. Take care and